when my cousins told me you were adopted, I was really shocked. Like, I know you look different, but I was like, wait, what? Like, I was shocked. They're like, Budoor, you don't say it? I was like, what? No way. No way. Like, I was surprised. I'm Budoor Abri, and today we'll be exploring the topic of adoption. Joining me in the studio is Hiba Falahi, an adoptee, and all the way from Kuwait. On Zoom, we have Zeina, an advocate of adoption and also the founder of Roots Kuwait. So let's begin the topic, and we're going to take it from the parents' perspective. Could you please, Zeina, introduce yourself and share a bit about your adoption journey?
Definitely. Thank you again for having me. My name is Zeina bin Isa. I'm from Kuwait. I'm an adoptive mom. I have two kids. My eldest is 18 now. She was adopted at 36 days old. And the youngest is 15 years old now. He was adopted at 40 days old. My journey has been full and rich, I guess, of, you can call it whatever, I don't know what you want to call it, but it's full of ups and downs, good stuff. I'm not going to say bad stuff because there's nothing bad in creating a family through adoption. It's something really, I think I've been blessed with being an adoptive mom and adopting my two kids.
And what about you? Can you tell us, Hiba, about your adoption story?
So basically, I was adopted when I was a child. We're not really sure if I was 2 weeks, 3 weeks, okay? But my parents saw me 3 days after I arrived at the hospital because of my nephew was born there. And then they immediately went home and decided to take me. And ever since I was a baby, I've been in this family that I love very much.
That's so sweet. Zeina, what led you to make the choice to adopt?
I didn't know adoption was possible in Kuwait, let alone the other countries, only to find out that it's available everywhere. I've always loved kids. I've always worked with kids. I have my way. I enjoy spending time with kids. And then when I got married and found out that there was no way that I'm going to have my own, I've been introduced to adoption through a friend who works in a hospital. And I was really, really surprised. I would never forget. I was very hesitant because I thought it was a very big decision to take. And it's an unusual idea to me at that time. I didn't know it existed. So basically, it's my love for kids is my main reason, or my main... what do you want to call it? Anyways, the main reason was my love of kids and creating a family.
Why did you think of it as a big step to take, adopting a child, and you feel like you're ready to have a child?
It's a big step because you're going to raise a child that has its own genetic mix, if I can call it. He's a stranger to you no matter what. You know nothing about this child. You don't know about his background. You know nothing at all. I remember the first time I held my daughter, I looked into her face. She looked like she was a stranger to me. And I thought, okay, I'm the grown-up and this is how I feel. How would she feel? It was very scary. I don't know if she's going to like me, love me or not. I don't know if she's going to accept being adopted or be happy that she was adopted. I knew nothing. It was sometimes it's not hard. It's very hard to jump into the unknown. And it was the unknown to me at that time.
I want to touch more upon how did your parents, Hiba, tell you about your adoption story?
So my parents automatically did something excellent without even planning for it. They did not even agree with each other to talk about adoption to me. So I was asking questions and they were just answering. My mom has a different skin tone than me. My dad does not look like me. So I kept on asking a lot of questions. And they would tell me separately about the story. I'll go to my mom and be like, why is your hair like this? Why is my hair like this? She's like, yeah, I took you from the hospital. And every day at night, I would tell my dad, tell me the story again. Tell me the story again. And he would tell me the story of going to the hospital and getting me. And then we became a family and all of that. So even my mom did not know that my dad was telling me that story. But both of them were very completely honest with me, which was the best thing they could do. Ever since I could ask questions, they could answer me the way, however they felt, which was good for me. You get it? So, mashallah, yani, they actually told me, and growing up, I already knew that I had this story that just was just like a cartoon character or a movie. So even when the rest of the other kids found out, they came and told me, imagine I didn't know. I would have been in shock.
But I wanted to ask you, you said at a very young age that you felt like you were asking your parents about, like, tell me the truth, and why is mama has a different hair, or I have a different skin complexion. But was there a reason that you were asking these questions other than the fact that they just look different?
So Zeina always says this. She's like, kids know. They know.
True.
Leading from that conversation, you asked your parents, and Zeina, I assume you told your kids, but when should parents tell their kids about them being adopted? Like from your perspective and from Zeina's perspective, Hiba and Zeina.
You start, Zeina.
Okay. I usually advise parents to start as soon, the minute they hold their child, no matter how young that baby is, even if he's an hour old. And I give them that advice because it's not an easy topic to talk about. Like if you wait a year or 2 or 3, you will feel that this child is yours, and it's very hard to tell him that he's adopted. It's really, really hard. I told my daughter when she was 2.5 years old, and it took me a week of convincing myself that I should start. And it was, you feel all those butterflies in your stomach. I was very nervous about it. And the other thing I learned is the more you talk about it to yourself and to people, the better the story becomes. And you will choose the right vocabulary. You will set it up beautifully. The events, they would just roll just like a normal story, and you will sound more confident talking about it. And that's what the child picks up on: your confidence and your love.
Telling her at 2 years old, do you think that was still late? You should have told her earlier.
Not late. No, it was good. But for me, I would have sounded better if I had started earlier.
Okay.
Talking to her about her being adopted, talking to her about, let's say, when you have like a 30 days old baby, and oh my God, you're so beautiful, you must look like your mom. You have a beautiful eye, beautiful hair, whatever it is, you want to talk when you change the diaper or when you give them a shower. Just talk about those differences, and talk to about their family, their biological family, all the positivity, all the love. But then when the time comes for the real story, then you have the right vocabulary and the confidence to say it nicely.
What about you, Hiba?
So, I don't even know if I actually asked the question. I'm sure my dad just told me as a bedtime story, because we can't ask him now. But the fact that he made it so normal that I'm adopted, he made me embrace it. And when it comes to adoption, it's not just towards the child, it's the people around. Yeah. So the whole family should also know about the adoption and know how to navigate. I believe adoption should be normalized. It shouldn't be a taboo. We shouldn't talk about it in secret. We shouldn't give it this power to look like something that could hurt people. Because adoption is beautiful. It's filled with love. It's something amazing. And the fact that people can make adoption look so normal, it gives us the comfortability to feel like who we are, which we're adopted. That's a part of identity, to be able to express ourselves, ask questions, look at the people around, be like, oh, maybe they look like me. When I was a kid, me and my cousins would look at a Filipino family and we're like, oh, maybe they're my family. You get it? It was that normal.
Acceptance, I love it.
Yeah. It was like that. It was like they were on a quest with me or something
to look
like
for
that.
your family.
Apparently, before I looked Filipino, now I'm looking South Asian. So we're going there. It's fine. We'll find out soon enough.
I love your acceptance to the fact that you're adopted and you're okay with it, talking about finding your biological family, or like even making jokes about it. That's actually really nice.
You have to. You have to, because if you don't like accept it, it's gonna break you. And it broke. We have a lot of stories of our siblings. We call the other adoptees, we see each other as siblings.
Okay.
So we have a lot of stories where people went down and under. Yani they went through a lot, and some of them are still going through a lot, because the most, when it comes to normal people, people look for their identity. Imagine an adoptee looking for his identity.
Yeah.
You get it? Like, so we have to embrace that part. We have to accept it. We have to make peace with it. We have to, navigate through it. We have to heal through it. We cannot just ignore it and then let it come and slap us in the face eventually.
Yeah.
We have to make peace.
And like you use the word navigate, and I want to ask Zeina, how do you navigate conversations about adoption with your children nowadays, like now as adults, and maybe within even Roots Kuwait?
To me, the direct way is always just be blunt and say it. When I talk about adoption, I never talk gently when I talk about adoption, and because I think the adoptee needs to hear it as is. There are certain things they need to deal with or to face, and if you don't face those things head up, you will never be able to get over them. We talk about adoption now. My kids are grown-ups; they're teenagers, so the need now is different, or the way to talk about it is different. Because teenagers usually are more aware of the society around them, what the society thinks, what the society sees. So that's what we talk about now mainly. Talking about maybe social norms, social rules, the laws in Kuwait or in the Arab world, talking about Islam. It all has to do with adoption and being adopted. That's what we discuss. But when they were little, we do talk about the biological family a lot. They needed to form their identity. They needed to form their characters. And just like I said at the very beginning, children know and they feel the difference. So you might as well address all those things that they are thinking about. They won't be brave enough to talk about it, but you have to open the subject and you have to talk to them about it.
Right.
So it's like I'm sitting and watching my kids. Whenever they come in a bad mood or angry about something, I know instantly that it's adoption related.
For the both of you, based on your experience, what advice would you have for parents when talking to their kids about adoption, from your perspective as an adoptee, and Zeina, your perspective as an adoptive mother?
Who should start? Me or you, Zeina? Zeina, go ahead.
I think we would all agree on honesty. You have to be honest.
Mm-hmm. There should be an open space, like a safe space. We need to feel safe.
Because what is safe?
Safe is the fact that you're not going to eat my head every time I open my mouth about it. I need to know that you're receptive to it.
Okay.
Because in the adoptees' experiences, not mine, other adoptees, every time they would talk about it, they would get shut down. Okay. Some other times they find out without the parents telling them. So they feel like, oh, we don't want to hurt the parent, or, oh, this is not something I can talk about, oh, this is something wrong to talk about. But no, you should tell them that they're adopted. You should give them an open and safe space to talk about it. You should also sometimes ask them gently, Tell them, how are you feeling about this? If you want to talk about it, go ahead. This doesn't make a difference whether I took you from the hospital or I didn't give birth to you. You're still my daughter. That makes a huge difference.
And is the safe spaces when your adoptive parents were always telling you about it, and then sometimes when we would go to them, they would just openly answer. Was that for you safe? Is that what you feel like? Okay,
Yeah.
I was safe. I can ask every time, every night before bed.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember. I was a little brat.
I remember.
They gave me unconditional love to the extent where I think it wasn't all that good.
Yes. For more context, Hiba is actually my adoptive aunt. So Hiba's mom and my grandma are sisters.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Budoor was practically living with us at home.
Technically, every summer. Yes,
Yeah.
I was in that house. Yep.
Yeah, and we got everything we wanted.
Yeah, it was like you said, it wasn't in our benefit. Allah yarhamu Babu. It was so spoiled. He was
Yeah.
spoiling us way too much.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
So it was filled with love. So that was safe space, filled
Yeah.
with love and affection and everything we wanted.
So you felt the love and the safeness of the space, and you were like, you know what? I feel like I'm gonna ask, and every time you asked, you got the answer.
Every time. Sometimes he would want to sleep and I would wake him up. Baba, tell me, miskin. Wallah, I tortured him a lot with all my questions. And my mom, I would create stories with her.
Yeah.
There's this one time she told me, because my mom, you don't get clear information. Just to clarify this, my mom has mental illness. So sometimes she's in our world, sometimes she's not. But it's like both of her imaginary and real world are combined together. So you don't get clear information from her. So she would tell me sometimes, sometimes there's this one day you said, you asked me the same question about your skin tone, my skin tone and your hair. And then you said, your mom died in a fire. And then she's like, some other times you create another story. And she's like, I would just listen to you and be like, yeah, maybe. my mom would just go
So
along.
you would tell her.
Yeah, I would tell her.
Okay.
What?
Kids usually make up stories and they would fill in the blanks. Where there's no details, they'll create their own. So
Zeina,
there's a possibility you really did that.
Zeina, is that like a coping mechanism, would you say?
Yeah, I think so. It gives them a sense of normalcy.
Okay.
And if you're the type of a parent who encourages the child to express himself, then they would share this with you.
Okay.
We're trying to connect the dots.
Okay. And in your experience, was that beneficial for you? The sense of
I think it was.
imagination? Okay.
I really think it was.
Interesting.
Just because like my family told me openly, it doesn't mean I did not have to go through a tough time when it comes to adoption. It's telling us is good for us. It helps us, but it doesn't mean it eliminates all the issues that we have with ourselves when it comes to adoptions.
True.
Did adoption play a role in your sense of identity
Of course.
today?
Yes. Like there was a time where I didn't I wasn't I don't know if I don't know how to explain it, but adoption would make me sad. You understand? There was a time where adoption was a difficult thing for me to swallow, identity wise. You get it? I didn't know where I am, where I came from, who looks like me, and plus my mom was going through a lot. My dad passed away, so it was everything at once, and adoption is right there to blame.
Yeah.
Adoption is always the first reason to put all your baggage in.
Okay.
It's like a norm for us because that's where you start. That's the beginning of our story. So that's where everything starts. Who was my mom? Why was I abandoned? Where are they? You get it? What's going on? Yani the thing that everybody knows about themselves, you look like your grandmother, you have your siblings, we don't have that. We look like nobody. And no matter how much a kid tries to fit in, they will never be able to fit in. Yani now my goal is never to fit in because I know that, like, as we were talking about this with the adoptees, we're exceptional. We're unique, we're special. You cannot put us with people. So we just embrace the fact that we're different.
Okay.
يعني even family gatherings كذا, I don't feel like I fit in. But I like that now.
And you're okay with it?
I'm fine with it.
That you don't fit in?
Yeah, because I am different already. يعني. Like I'm not trying to put your blood and my blood and mix it together, No, I'm fine with the fact that it's okay. Sometimes we cannot relate. Sometimes we cannot fit in. It's okay. And as soon as we accept that, it's like we fit in even more. If that makes any sense.
Was there a point that you were trying to fit in?
Yeah.
The family?
I did.
Yeah?
Yeah, and that put a lot of pain in me.
And what was the breaking point where you were like, you know what? I'm special and I'm unique and that's
It took a lot of healing. We have to heal. We have to heal. Yani for me, I hit 2 breaking points in my life where I went through depression twice, and coming out of that, I got out stronger. So it's like a normal person's story when they become depressed and try to come out and try to better themselves. For me, that was the same thing. So I worked with myself. Yani it wasn't just the adoption. It's like trying to better yourself, trying to heal. And then through that healing journey, I accepted myself and accepted my story that came with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, does that mean that your perspective on being adopted changed over time? Let's say it changed till today, from the point where you had your depression twice, you came out of it stronger, you used to blame everything on depression. Would you say it changed? How you look at adoption now is different?
Now it's completely different, but it's not a linear process. It goes up and down. There were times when I was 10 I hated it. There were times when I was 10 I liked it. It's mixed emotions. It comes and goes based on the circumstances, based on the outside influence. It's situations that happens. It's not something that is a straight line.
Yeah.
Yani things come up. Sometimes it comes up, sometimes it comes straight in your face and you have to deal with them. Sometimes people in the family would say things. Sometimes people outside would say things. Sometimes you'll hear bad words. People need to understand that they need to use gentle language, but there are some languages that they describe us. Like, for example, there's a word in Arabic where I picked up from the floor. These things, and then we hear stories and we're like, yo, that's us. Why are you calling a child that had nothing to do with their biological parents doing? And you never know what the biological parents did for them to abandon a child, But people are there putting these words of judgment that is not really fair on the child that did nothing. You just found this child who has no family, and then you give them these words. You understand, these bad words. That really doesn't impact on the child. Although the child can act like nothing happened, trust me, they would go and it will affect them, if not today, tomorrow, or the day after.
And Zeina, as an adoptive mother, how did that, like the process of adoption, impacted your family dynamic and relationships? Be it close, like at home with your husband, or with your extended family?
I just want to comment on Hiba's view, if possible, just before answering your question. I believe that Hiba managed to break through because of all the unconditional love she got as a child. They directly sent her a message that she is worth every single effort her parents put, and that she's worth the love. She is a worthy person. That's why she could break through and reach to where she is now. And I salute Hiba and her parents for all that. That's a very important thing not all adoptees get. Now, relationships and adoption.
Yes.
Now, not everyone in society accepts adoption or adopted children. To me, my parents were very accepting. They love my kids like the rest of their grandkids, which is nice. But further than that, we see it depends. Most of the people are watching them. I feel they are watching my kids closely. If they did something wrong, they would go, "Oops, okay, those kids are adopted. That's why they misbehaved."
Oh.
And if they did something right, they say, "Oh, mashallah, she brought them up so well. They are really good kids." So what I have done is I have not very much, but somehow isolated my family from the judging society. We only make friends and mix with people who accept us and accept us as a family. People kept trying, to, let's say I get invitations to places and they wouldn't invite my kids. I would decline right away. I only mix with people who accept me and my kids. So it does, there is a plus and minus, but to me, it's all positive because I have my kids, they're confident, and they are looking forward to build their own future and finish whatever they want to do in their lives. Part of it is you really need to be a strong-headed person probably to be an adoptive parent, I think. And just like everything else in society, you don't go around trying to convince everyone that you're a nice person or you're doing the right thing. If you're convinced you're doing something right, that's it. You shouldn't care about anyone else.
That's really beautiful. And like, obviously we're related, and your adoptive parents are my grandparents, but What was the impact of the adoptive family, be it from your dad's side, for example, because we're related? And I need to add this one point. Hiba said that I was there every summer in your house, and that's true. And in fairness, like I should have known this earlier. And like, but when my cousins told me you were adopted, I was really shocked. Like, I know you look different, but I was like, wait, what? Like, I was shocked. They're like, Budoor, you don't say it? I was like, what? No way. No way. Like, I was surprised. Like, I don't know if it was the innocence of us being kids or because we were close growing up. We were always there. You were at our house. We were at your house. But I was really shocked. So can you tell me about the experiences or impact or some, like, the family dynamics and relationships, be it with your cousins from your dad's side, Allah rahmah, or from, like, our side?
There was a lot of love, but there was a lot of judgment. The judgment outbeated the love, for sure. 100%. Especially a long time ago. I think a long time ago, people were not as educated as today. A long time ago, like when I was a kid, people were ready to just bash everybody. Like, or discriminate or think that they're better than the other people. Like when it comes to my close cousins, there was judgment, but I didn't know where that was coming from. Maybe it was my attitude, maybe it was my adoption, but immediately my mind will go to adoption. Yeah. You get it? Immediately my mind will go, oh, because I'm adopted. There were some occasions for example, in Eid, where the person in front of me will get the idea, I wouldn't get it. There were some times where we'd go out with all my cousins. I have 2 of my cousins who are sisters and they don't have our last name because of their mom is our aunt and they're related to us from their mom. And we're all like from the same last name. And then somebody would go like, oh, we're all from the same last name except for one. Obviously, she met me. And that comes from the grown-ups. Nice. You get it? And whatever judgment comes, oh, this girl is like, from the hospital. Because after my dad passed away and my mom got sick, it's not like there was anybody to discipline me. So I was very angry at everything. And there was a lot of people who forgot about us. Like my first cousins would get married and everybody's there and I would hear from the other side of the family, my mom's side. And then my dad's side would get married, I'll hear from my mom's side and the vice versa. So they would literally not count me as a part of the family sometimes. And I don't think they understand they're doing that. Like I'm not there pointing fingers at them. I think they just didn't know that when it comes to adopting the family, it's the whole family adopting the child. You need to give them love. You need to shwaya, make them feel that they belong. Because if you do not, immediately they cut themselves out. So like I became close to the family later on when I embraced myself. I was like, you know what? Whatever happened. I'm not blaming them. They don't know that they were supposed to be like this. Yeah. They don't know that they were supposed to give me love. So I had to heal, and the people who treated me that way now respect me so much. Alhamdulillah, like they treat me well, and I don't think they didn't even remember what they did. I don't think they remember. Maybe if they were just, it was so like they didn't think anything of it that they don't know that they did something. I think everybody was just ego driven. When you feel like this child, she has nobody, so I'm better than her. Subconsciously, that I'm not saying that's what they thought. Inside, not knowingly, they thought. It's like their ego was taking control over them. You get it? So it's like them thinking they're better than me, as because I have no background, I don't share the same blood, unknown biological parents. And this is from my point of view, seeing how it was, because you cannot just blame a kid. I was just a kid. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now, you shared from your family's perspective, and obviously Zeina is joining us all the way from Kuwait. Mm-hmm. And I just want to know, in both your experiences, is the topic of adoption an easy conversation to have within the society? So, from your perspective, Omani society, and Zeina, from your perspective, the Kuwaiti society.
I think people are curious, so it is an easy topic. You would attract attention when you talk about adoption or being adopted, because it's a new topic to them, and they're very curious about it. So yes, talking about it is easy, but the reaction afterwards depends. I think it varies.
What about you, Hiba?
For me, I'm fine with it. It's okay. I'm talking, I know that people want to learn, and I know that from the way I talk about it, I know they will accept it.
You think the Omani society is ready for this conversation?
Yes. Okay. But there are other adoptees who are not ready to have this conversation. Like, I have faith in our society, because if you look at now and before, our mind has opened, we're more educated, we're more understanding, we're more compassionate. But there are a lot of adoptees who can't even have that conversation yet. They see the society from a different perspective. So it depends on the person who's talking. So I'm okay with it, but some of them are not. It takes them, like, some of them don't even want anybody to know that they're adopted, and they're just hiding.
I want to link this to my next question, which is about stigmas. Probably, maybe that's the way they look at it, the adoptee that's not ready to talk about it. Do you think there are some stigmas that are still associated with it? Probably that's why the adoptee doesn't want to talk about it, or Zeina, an adoptive mother, doesn't want to talk about it?
Yes, they're scared. I think they're scared of how... I think it's because of what they went through that now they're losing faith in it. Or they feel like people are going to look down at them. Because that's how it was.
Yeah.
It's a taboo. So why are we talking about this today? Because we want to educate people and tell them, no, this is something normal. The Rasul ﷺ, he also adopted a child. This is normal in our religion, and it's something that we should embrace it instead of talking about it as if it's something that is,
secret, or like like there's stigma to it being an adult. But like within our family, really, like when we found out, we were very young, but personally speaking, I don't think we saw it as different. Our house, we didn't see you as different. You're still Hiba, Babu, Bibi's daughter.
Yeah.
The kind of...
Thank God.
Yeah. Well, to us, yeah, because we still treat you the same. What about Zeina? What are some of the stigmas that are still associated with adoption?
Well, I find the main is they still hold the child accountable for whatever his parents did, even though they don't know what his parents did. Nobody knows what happened to the biological parents, but they still hold him like as if he was the reason, or that child was the reason. That's the biggest issue to them. And the other issues they have is the adoptees themselves, they don't want pity. Sometimes when you say, oh, I'm adopted, they feel sorry for you. And they don't like that. They don't like that reaction. Okay. I'm adopted, but there's nothing wrong with me. It's not that I need your sympathy or something for being adopted.
Yeah.
I think those are the main two points they talk about. It's just the society needs to learn لا تزر وازرة وزر أخرى. And it takes time, I think, to change that.
Touching on that topic, what advice would both of you give to people who may be curious about adoption but are not sure how to respectfully approach that topic? I know you said like don't talk in pity to them, but what else would you say?
Zeina has this. She knows this.
The floor is yours, Zeina.
To me, actually, when I encourage people to ask me whatever they want to ask, because then I'll be able to tell them all the things I want to tell everyone about adoption. And I really like the straightforward way. I don't like people who, just go in circles and not say anything. It's always easier, and I think it's more respectful when you talk to them instead of talking about them.
Zeina has an open platform, where people come and ask questions. Some mothers who want to adopt, they go and speak to her. We have this page that is called Adopting Love Oman. We have a lot of people that come, like mothers and adoptees, that we don't have so much going on there. We don't post a lot, but it's open. So people come and reach out and they talk to us.
So it is an active page.
It is, but we don't really post much. Yeah. So they come and they talk to us and we answer them. Some of them come directly to our accounts and they talk to us about their adoption, their parents' adoptions, their grandparents' adoptions. We hear different stories. So the reason why we talk about this, because we're here, whoever wants to ask anything, we're here to answer. There's Zeina from her end, there's us, the adoptees. We're always open to answer. Like there's a girl, Ahlam, who we did the interview in Kuwait. People approached her and the same happened. And years back, we had some of the adoptees posting their stories. So people, whoever relates to their story, they go and add them because we added the tag. So they add them and they conversate with them. So that's why if they have questions or anything, they can go to the ministry or come to us. So there's us. You can always come and ask us anything you want, basically.
Yeah, you both touched upon my next question, which was resources for adoptee in Oman and obviously for the ones in Kuwait. So what advice would you give couples considering adoption, Zeina?
The first thing they have to do is deal with their emotional luggage before getting a child into their lives. And again, other than talking to their kids, there's nothing, because it's a child, it's a helpless child. You're ready to take care of a child that has his own genetics and likes and dislikes and food preferences, go ahead. But if you want to adopt a child because you're looking for a dream to fulfill, or you think he's going to be your dream child, no, he's not going to be your dream child. You need to help him create his own likes and dislikes and preferences and characters and his own dreams. You need to help him fulfill his dreams, not yours.
And not just that, remember, Zeina, what we spoke about, you said if they're adopting a child to go into heaven, then they shouldn't adopt at all.
They shouldn't.
Yeah, they shouldn't. We're not.
I wasn't about to say that.
No, you can say it. It's a good point to touch upon.
It's an excellent point. Yeah.
Okay,
you can't just build that intention. Oh, we're your ticket to heaven.
Yeah, I get you. That's a very good point. But any final thoughts before we end today's interview?
I think I have faith in the society. I think the society needs to be more compassionate with adoptees like us and with families that adopted. And when you have an adoptee in the family, although it's your distant cousin, it's good to show love. It's good to show attention. It's good to give them the confirmation. Sometimes adoptees need the confirmation that they're loved, they're accepted. Because even if the family was always accepting, there's always these demons that come in our head and be like, oh, maybe they were not loved enough. Maybe they don't want us. Maybe, there's a lot of maybes. And we go through the struggle growing up to accept ourselves. Our identity really boggles with our minds. So sometimes we need the extra support. So that's what I think. And I think that if you ever hear anybody talking about a child in a bad way, please stop them and educate them. Yeah. We need to educate everybody on how to talk about these kids who have done nothing wrong. They have a long journey ahead of them to accept themselves and be the best they could be with this baggage that we are born with, this question mark that we have.
Just one final question. I know I'm out of questions, but this is out of this question is just literally a follow-up. I've known you now my whole life. Okay? Yeah. But literally my whole life, because you're older than me, the same age as my brothers. I've known you since I came in this world. I know I have my aunt Hiba. But my question is, going through all that journey and knowing you, how are you today? Because remember you said you went through your depression and you came out stronger, and I've seen you through all of it, and we knew when you were going through whatever, because Allah Rahmu passed away, like we know all of that.
Yeah.
The Hiba that you are today as an adoptive child, how are you like this today? Are you like, you're acceptant and everything? How are you here? Because you said every adoptive child has a long way to go into acceptance, and you have accepted yourself, صح? And what are the resources?
I think it's the same. Like, I read a lot of self-development books, to be honest. I did a lot of journaling. I did a lot of, they call it shadow work, but I didn't know that was the name. Like, I faced my demons. Okay. I spoke the truth to myself. Whatever I was in denial with, I was like, Hiba, come on. Stop lying to yourself. Okay. You feel this because of this. You do this because of this. You're angry because of it. And I was so angry growing up. Alhamdulillah, now I'm not angry. Yeah. You barely see me getting angry at anybody.
Yeah, you're so chill, bro.
Yeah, but before, remember, I was
you're so hot-tempered. That's what I'm telling you. I see the change. So that's why I'm like, what happened? But I get it now.
It's the healing journey. Everybody, whoever's adopted or not adopted, we need healing. But it's the healing. Once you go through that and want to become better and read the books, there's a lot of books I can recommend. But it starts with The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle. That book, it's a stepping stone to spirituality and self-development. But after you do that, it's like Aslan, I believe when you ask God that you want to get better, He will bring all the resources to you and He'll help you find your way to get better. I really believe that. Adopted or not, yani. We all need that. And inshallah, I cannot wait to see all my adoptive siblings. Oh my God, to just embrace adoption, embrace their identity with this beautiful question mark. It's like we put glitter on it now. Question mark. We don't know anything, but it's beautiful.
It's a beautiful question mark. Thank you so much for joining me, Hiba, and for your openness.
Thank you for having me.
And willing to talk about it. And it's a very sensitive topic, man. So I'm really thankful that you joined me today. And Zeina, thank you again for joining me. That was Zeina all the way from Kuwait with the time difference. Thank you so much. That was Zeina Badr bin Isa, an adoptive mother, the founder of Roots Kuwait, and an adoptee, Hiba Al-Falahi. Can you guys just tell us where can people find you on Instagram?
We have Roots Kuwait on Instagram, or my name itself. I'm always available. There's a contact number as well. Social media makes life easier.
Yes, it does.
It does. We have Adopting Love Oman.
Yes.
And also there's my profile. You can add me. It's fine. I sometimes accept
Sometimes
random people. Random people, yeah.